He was very moved by my mother, I have to say, his grandmother, Holocaust survivor, who always told him stories about the Jewish people and about the Holocaust, and you could just tell that he took it to heart, even as a very young child.
He was definitely always the big brother, which is always appreciated. He would help me with my homework and make sure that I was doing well in Hebrew school.
As he was growing up, he really enjoyed Judaism and partaking in activities. He loved going to shul, he loved Torah.
At USY and at services, he would always look out for me and make sure I was taken care of. So he was a very nurturing big brother.
During his training for his bar mitzvah 3 years before, he had learned everything he needed to learn within the first year. So then he continued to go on and learn more, and when it came to his bar mitzvah, he did all 7 aliyot, which was, the synagogue told us, the rabbi and the cantor couldn't believe it. They thought that was just amazing that he took the initiative to do that, and he did a really nice job.
Micah was one of those counselors that everybody sort of liked because he was one of those counselors that gave equal time to everybody, and he's one of the counselors that, and it's sort of embarrassing to say, everyone kind of wanted to be like Micah. And the impact he had was, I think, that he inspired an entire generation of counselors, and he inspired them to be the kind of counselors that he was, which was kind, fun, compassionate, but really most importantly was that he was a vicious, angry, mean softball player.
The thing about Micah is if you knew him, you knew he was going to be a rabbi, and everyone who knew him well knew he was going to be a rabbi except for Micah. And he did pretty soon after he moved to New York, and everyone was kind of relieved that he finally was ready to embrace what we all knew that he really loved doing. Everything about being a rabbi was what he really loved.
We journeyed through rabbinical school together. I think it was very powerful to study together, to engage in Judaic texts and to wrestle and grapple with the texts of our tradition. We were journeying together, so it was very special, and it was a really unique time.
In the final year of rabbinical school, pretty much all we did together at night was talk about where are we going to be at this time next year? What's our life going to look like? And I used to tease Micah, but I was pretty sincere in saying, I will go anywhere with you except for New Jersey.
We went to the seminary to do a series of interviews. We were beginning to despair, frankly, after 7 interviews. And in walks this very tall, that was my initial impression of him, tall guy who sits down, and within 5 minutes, we knew that there was something special about him. He was giving us answers to the questions that we were asking that we really wanted to hear. It was clear that he had the same values that our congregation has.
I think the real insight we got to him was when he came here for his interview weekend, and he adopted our back and forth style of talking from the bima and remembered everybody's name who made a comment, and everyone was remarking about that after the Kiddush. And he's sincere, he's warm, he's intelligent, he's just a terrific human being.
Yael Asbel did a great job convincing us to just come and see TBS. And we came down and we stayed with the Lindemans. And I saw the chemistry that Micah had with Rabbi Lindeman, and I saw him getting really excited between meeting Rabbi Lewis and spending Shabbat with Rabbi Lindeman. We knew when we came down here that this was really where Micah was supposed to be, and it's been really perfect, b'sheret.
This is unprecedented. In my 5.5 years in this job, I have never heard a bad word about him. No one has ever said, boy, that Rabbi Peltz.
He's always right there whenever I need something. He's always right there leading the way, knowing what to do, knowing what to say, with great ideas and with great passion.
There's so many times when he brings an insight, he brings text from Talmud or Midrash, an interpretation, an understanding of the text that just wows me. That means that I'm learning too on that particular day.
Every year, for 5 years now, he and I have gone on the confirmation class trip to Israel. It takes a lot to lead that trip, I think, and he does it beautifully. It's a community trip, but it's very much his baby, and he runs it so beautifully and with such caring in terms of creating the perfect trip for each year.
I was fortunate to be the president when we transitioned from Rabbi Lewis to Rabbi Lindeman. And because of the 2 people involved, that went extraordinarily smoothly. And I envision the same kind of smooth transition from Rabbi Lindemann to Rabbi Peltz.
You don't come across a Rabbi Micah Peltz all that often. Somebody who has so much talent, somebody who has both Torah and the understanding of people, who has humor, who is good with young people and with older adults. And when you find that person, then you know that you don't want that person to go anywhere else.
I think he's a natural for it, and I see no more fitting place for Rabbi Peltz than to lead this congregation into the future.
We felt like it almost felt natural that we would be able to be here for kind of the long haul and be able to see the families that we saw their babies be born, to be able to be there at their bar mitzvahs.
Cherry Hill is just like home to us, and we're real pleased and proud that he chose that community and has fit in well, and they make us feel at home when we're there, so we're real proud to have him continue on and lead the future of TBS.
Joy, Yashar Kochech, and Mazel Tov. You did a beautiful job on your bat mitzvah this morning.
He's a natural. I think he's a great leader to take TBS into the next decades, whatever his time may be. He cares so much, he's so smart, and he has great ideas for what is going to move TBS forward, and he cares so much about the people here, and he knows them so well. I mean, no one has a way with names like Micah Peltz.
I think he takes that very seriously as a part of the kind of rabbi he wants to be. I think when he meets someone, he really makes it a priority to learn about them so that he can remember them the next time he sees them.
He has a vision for Temple Beth Sholom and for Judaism and for the vibrancy of Jewish life that extends beyond just what Judaism looks like today. He's preparing people and the youth of the future Jewish communities for what Judaism will be like 10 and 15 years from now.
I wanted to send our warm mazel tov and tell you how much we felt from Micah, hearing of the wonderful work he's doing in your congregation from my colleague, Rabbi Steve Lindemann, seeing the work he's done honored on the website of the Rabbinical Assembly for the work he's done with the Beit Midrash. He's a wonderful rabbi, a wonderful person, and you couldn't have made a better choice in honoring him.
I'm really proud and I'm really impressed, but I'm really not surprised. I think that those of us who know him really well know he's unique, and he has been doing and he will do more good things for this world.